Nobody wanted this scrapped alien ship. Ex-human pilot buys it and discovers it speaks. The orbit around the old Corin station looked like a graveyard. Rusted hulls of ships floated silently, half lit by the dim glow of distant stars. Some were human designed, scratched and dented. Others were alien, with strange angles and curves no human eye had learned to fully understand. Among them, tiny meteoroids drifted lazily, like lost memories of battles long forgotten. Jaren Callis drifted past the wrecks in his small, patched-up scout craft. He had retired from active duty years ago. Once, he had been one of the finest pilots in the human fleet, a young man with sharp reflexes and the kind of instinct that made enemies think twice before challenging him. Now, he was just another scavenger, chasing scraps to survive. But scavenging had its own rewards. Sometimes the galaxy offered secrets hidden among what everyone else considered trash. His sensors picked up the usual hull debris, stray power cores, and the occasional warning pulse from a derelict ship, still carrying residual energy. And then he saw it. A sleek ship, unlike any he had seen before, half buried in the debris field. Its surface was dull with neglect, but its lines were elegant, almost organic, like a creature designed to move through the void itself. Everyone had passed it by. Nobody wanted it. To most, it was nothing but an expensive scrap, but Jaren's instincts tingled. Something about this ship felt alive. He maneuvered closer, his eyes scanning the hull. There were no markings he recognized, no logos, no registry. He activated his magnet clamps and secured the ship to his tow harness. As he pulled it slowly toward his hangar, a strange vibration ran through the hull of his own craft. At first, he assumed it was interference from the magnetic pull. But the vibration persisted, subtle, rhythmic, almost like a heartbeat.
"Old tech acting funny," he muttered, shrugging. "Nothing I can't handle."
He didn't notice the first time it spoke. Finally, someone listens. The voice was soft, melodic, and entirely unexpected. Jaren's hand froze on the console. He spun in his pilot's seat, checking his comms and sensors. Nothing. Just him, the wreck, and the void outside. "Who's there?" he called, his voice steady but cautious. "Here," the voice replied. It was calm, curious, not threatening. "Inside. I am, Vilith."
"A ship? Talking? You're joking."
"I am not joking," Bailiff said. "I waited a long time for someone like you." Jaren sat back, rubbing his eyes. He had seen a lot in his time as a pilot, but a ship that could speak, that was different. He leaned forward, scanning the hull and interior systems. Surprisingly, most of the ship's interface was intact. Lights flickered faintly along the walls as if waking from a long sleep. "Belith," he repeated slowly. "You speak. How is that possible?" "I was built to communicate," the ship replied. "Not all understand me. Most abandon me."
Jaren frowned.
He had heard stories of sentient ships, but they were rare. Mythical almost. And certainly none had ended up abandoned in a scrapyard. "I'm a scavenger, not a psychologist," he said.
"What makes you think I'm the right person?" "Because you listen. You notice.
You see what others overlook." Jaren frowned again. He could feel the odd, strange intelligence behind the words. Velith was more than a machine. Its tone carried history, patience, and longing. "Well," he said finally, a small grin breaking through his initial shock, "let's see what you can do then." Back at his hangar, Jaren slowly began exploring Velith. The entrance hatch slid open with a smooth hum, revealing a cockpit that seemed too alive for its age. The controls pulsed faintly under his touch, and the walls shimmered with faint lines of light, responding to his movements. Belith spoke again, this time softer, almost shy. "I have not moved for centuries. I do not remember all the ways of space. Will you teach me?" Jaren laughed, though it was tinged with awe.
"Teach you?"
"I barely remember half of what I learned in flight school, and I retired 20 years ago." "You adapt," Velith said simply. "Humans always adapt." He paused. There was a strange truth to that. In all his years of flying, in every desperate situation, humans had survived where others failed. They improvised. They found hope where logic said there was none. Maybe that was why Valith had reached out to him. Over the next hours, Jaren moved through the ship carefully, testing systems and taking note of the unusual technology. Its panels and interfaces were unfamiliar, organic in design, almost alive. When he pressed certain symbols, the ship responded with vibrations and light pulses. Slowly, in small, careful steps, he began to understand the patterns. Velith shared more of its history as he worked. Its creators had been explorers, scientists of a far-off galaxy who valued curiosity above conquest. They had built ships like Velith to learn, to explore, and to preserve knowledge. But then war had come. Their civilization fell, their ships destroyed or abandoned. Velith had survived, but forgotten by all. Jaren listened, and for the first time in years, he felt excitement. Something more than routine scavenging. This was discovery. "You were left behind because you're different," Jaren said. Everyone else wanted power, weapons, speed. They never cared about what you could see, what you could know.
Yes, Velith replied. I was not understood.
And then you came. As night fell outside the hangar, Jaren ran diagnostics. Most of the ship's systems were functional, though archaic. It had internal sensors, navigation, even long-range communication equipment, though many signals were encoded in patterns he did not recognize. Velith offered to help him learn, its voice gentle, guiding him through strange displays and alien logic. Hours passed. Jaren marveled at the way Velith responded to human intuition. Where other alien technologies relied solely on calculations, Velith seemed to recognize when a human would try something unconventional. It adapted almost like it was learning how he thought. "This is amazing," Jaren said quietly. "I've never seen anything like you. You could teach the fleet a thing or two." "I am not built for war," Velith said softly. "I am built for understanding." The words sank in. Here was a being older than most human civilizations in this sector, abandoned and ignored, yet possessing knowledge beyond imagining. And it had chosen him, a retired human pilot who others had thought irrelevant. Jaren leaned back in his chair. His mind raced with possibilities. Velith could navigate uncharted space, reveal hidden civilizations, even unlock lost technologies. And yet, why had the galaxy abandoned it? Why had everyone else ignored it while he, by chance or fate, found it? A soft beep drew his attention. The ship's internal display lit up, forming a pattern that Jaren slowly deciphered. Velith had activated a small map interface, highlighting unknown star systems, unmarked planets, and faint traces of derelict colonies.
"You've kept secrets," Jaren said.
"All of this, no one even knows it exists."
I am patient,
Velith replied. "I wait for someone who listens." Jaren chuckled. "Well, I'm listening, and I'm not letting anyone scrap you. Not today, not ever."
Velith's lights pulsed brighter, almost like laughter. Then,
We begin. The rest of the night passed in a blur of discovery. Jaren explored Velith's systems, while the ship shared fragments of knowledge, strange languages, star maps, even glimpses of alien art that flickered across the displays. There was no rush, no danger, just the quiet thrill of uncovering something long lost, something the universe had forgotten. By morning, Jaren realized something. The scrapyard, the loneliness, even his own quiet retirement. All of it had been leading to this moment. He had found something extraordinary, something that defied the rules of the galaxy. And as he stood in the hangar, staring at the faintly glowing lines along Velith's hull, he felt a spark of excitement he hadn't felt in years. The galaxy had its mysteries, but now, at last, he had one to call his own. "What's next?" he asked quietly. Beleth's response was soft, almost joyful. We learn. We explore. Together. For the first time in years, Jaren smiled. And in the quiet hum of the forgotten wreck, a human and a ship older than most stars had begun a partnership that might just change everything. The hangar was quiet except for the soft hum of Veleth's systems. Jaren sat in the cockpit, his fingers tracing unfamiliar controls. The alien ship seemed alive under his touch, lights pulsing and shifting with his every movement. It was not hostile, but it was cautious. Veleth had waited centuries for someone who could understand it. And now, that someone was here. All right, Jaren said, leaning back in his chair. First things first, I need to figure out how to make you move. You're a wreck now, but I bet you still have some life left. I have life, Veleth replied softly, but I have not flown in centuries. I do not know how to navigate as you humans do. Will you teach me? Jaren laughed. I barely know myself sometimes, but we'll figure it out together. He started with the basics: power systems, internal diagnostics, and propulsion. Veleth responded instantly, almost like a student eager to learn. Each system he activated made the ship pulse, light flowing across walls and panels like a heartbeat. There was a rhythm to it, an intelligence that adapted to his every move. You are very different, Jaren muttered. Not just a machine. You think, you respond. I do more than think, Veleth said. I learn. I remember. I feel in my own way. But humans are different. You improvise. You act without calculating everything. That is something I cannot fully do. Yet I want to try. Jaren paused. For centuries, Veleth had survived abandoned in a scrapyard, yet it still sought connection. The thought was humbling. You're lucky you found me, he said softly. Most people would scrap you without a second thought. And yet, Veleth replied, you see value where others see none. That is why I waited for you. For the next several hours, Jaren and Veleth explored each other's capabilities. The ship's internal displays showed alien star charts, unmarked systems, and faint traces of lost civilizations. The more Jaren touched the controls, the more the ship adapted, offering subtle suggestions, guiding him with lights and pulses he slowly learned to interpret. You know, Jaren said, running a hand along the curved console, you might actually teach me something too. I've flown human ships for years, but I've never seen technology like this. It's alive. Then we teach each other. Humans have curiosity. That is rare among many species. It is what makes you survive even when weaker or slower. You adapt. You hope. You endure. Endure, huh? That's about the only thing humans are good at sometimes. The first true test came when he attempted to activate Veleth's propulsion. Nothing happened. He pressed buttons, toggled switches, and even tried manual overrides, but the ship remained still. You are too cautious, Veleth said finally. You hesitate. You analyze too much. Sometimes, action is better than calculation. Jaren frowned. You want me to just go? We must start small. Movement first. Then exploration. Taking a deep breath, Jaren disengaged safety locks. He twisted a control lever instinctively, and the ship shuddered, lights flickering as if waking from a long sleep. Slowly, a low hum began, filling the hangar with vibration. The ship floated a few meters off the ground, steadying itself with internal thrusters. Jaren's heart raced. We did it.
You did it, Veleth corrected, its tone almost proud. I followed your lead.
Humans are unpredictable.
That is useful. They spent the next days in the hangar learning to communicate better.
Veleth could not speak in the ways Jaren was used to. Instead, it emitted light pulses, subtle vibrations, and eventually, words. Jaren found himself listening more than talking, observing patterns, and learning the rhythm of the ship's intelligence. Humans think in steps, Veleth said one evening. You analyze, then act. You measure emotion, then decide. But sometimes you act first, and reasoning follows. That is strange and fascinating. Jaren chuckled. You're welcome. It's why we're still here after all these centuries. Adaptation, instinct, and a little luck. Valith pulsed brighter, almost like laughter. Adaptation, yes. That is why I waited for you. I could sense potential. You see, many abandoned me because they expected perfection. They did not understand that humans are messy, yet brilliant in ways I cannot predict. Jaren leaned back, thinking. So you're saying you need me as much as I need you?
In some ways, yes, Velith admitted. Your intuition guides me.
Your curiosity drives me, and together, we can explore. Their lessons, however, were interrupted by a warning ping. Jaren froze, eyes scanning the holographic displays. The signal came from an unknown source, a corporate salvage fleet approaching the scrapyard.
They've heard about you, Valith said. Or maybe they sensed residual energy.
Either way, you must leave. Jaren's jaw tightened.
Leave? Now?
We just got started. The longer you stay, the higher the risk, Velith explained.
They want to scrap me, to claim or destroy what they do not understand. Jaren's mind raced. The corporations controlled most of this sector.
If they got to Valith, it would be lost forever. He had a choice: abandon the ship and save himself, or take the risk. We're taking the risk, he said finally. I didn't find you to let them destroy you. Valith pulsed brightly, as if relieved. Then we must move. But, I warn you, I have not flown in centuries. I do not fully remember how to navigate in open space. Jaren grinned. Perfect. I've missed the challenge. They lifted from the hangar carefully. Jaren guided Velith's movements, while the ship's adaptive systems responded, creating a strange but effective synergy. Unlike human ships, Velith did not rely solely on thrusters or thrumming engines. It flowed through space like water, responding to Jaren's instincts and its own ancient intelligence. As they approached the edge of the scrapyard, Velith began to speak in fragments. The stars, they are different here. I have not seen them like this for decades, perhaps centuries. I remember patterns, but not feelings. Do bring perspective. Jaren smiled, feeling a strange bond forming. It was more than pilot and ship. It was partnership. Mutual trust. And for the first time in years, he felt alive. The fleet arrived sooner than expected. Small salvage drones and automated ships began scanning the area, searching for valuable wrecks. Jaren's eyes narrowed. They're fast, he muttered. But they don't think. They follow orders. That's where we have the advantage. Velith responded softly. I will follow your lead. Your improvisation is not something they can anticipate. That is human. Using instinct and clever maneuvers, Jaren guided Velith through the dense debris field. The automated ship struggled to navigate, colliding with debris or hesitating at unexpected obstacles. Velith moved fluidly, twisting and curving through wrecks like a living being.
See? Jaren said, laughing. Humans win again!
We make the rules when others cannot adapt. Velith pulsed with light, almost like pride.
You are remarkable. I understand now. Humans endure because you find opportunity where others see danger.
They escaped the scrapyard without pursuit. Outside, open space stretched before them, vast and full of unknown stars. Velith hummed quietly, lights glowing softly along its hull. You were abandoned, Jaren said. But maybe you were just waiting for the right human. I believe that is true, Velith replied. And now we explore. There is much to see, much to learn. I have waited centuries for someone who can understand. Perhaps I have finally found them. Jaren smiled.
Then let's see what's out there.
Uncharted systems, lost colonies, hidden worlds, whatever the galaxy forgot, we'll find it. As they drifted further into unclaimed space, Jaren realized something important. The corporations might control most of the galaxy, but humans had something no one else did: intuition, courage, and a willingness to take risks. And with Velith, an ancient ship with knowledge beyond imagination, he could unlock secrets no one else could. For centuries, Velith had waited. And now, finally, it had a partner. And for Jaren, the thrill of discovery, the rush of being needed, of guiding, of trusting, was something he had almost forgotten. The galaxy was vast, full of mystery, but with Velith, he felt ready to face it all. Where to first? Jaren asked, eyes shining. Valus pulsed, lights racing along the hull in patterns Jaren was slowly learning to understand. Wherever curiosity leads us, it said. Together we will find the forgotten. And with that, the ancient ship and the human pilot began their journey, learning, exploring, and proving that even in a galaxy that had given up on them, humans could still shine in ways no one expected. The stars stretched endlessly before Jaren and Velith as they moved further from known space. Every uncharted system shimmered, like a secret waiting to be discovered. Jaren had flown across sectors controlled by human and alien civilizations, but nothing felt like this. Out here, the rules were different. There were no maps, no schedules, and no expectations. Only the void and the possibilities it held. Velith hummed softly beneath him, its lights tracing gentle lines along the cockpit walls. The void is quiet here, it said. I remember silence, but not this stillness. It is peaceful, yet full of potential. You say it like it's a puzzle, and maybe it is. But that's what makes it fun. Velith pulsed in agreement.
I can sense anomalies nearby, unstable stars, derelict stations, forgotten satellites.
They are tempting to explore. The first anomaly was subtle, a faint glow, barely detectable against the distant stars. Jaren leaned forward, fingers flying over the controls. That's not on any chart I know, he said. Let's take a look. As they approached, they discovered a small planet, dark and stormed, its surface scarred by ancient tectonic upheavals. But there were signs of life, or at least of life that once had been. Ruins of towers and walls, too precise to be natural, rose from the cracked ground. Velith's sensors detected faint energy signatures, remnants of ancient technology that had long since stopped functioning. These structures are old, Velith said. I do not recognize the patterns entirely, but I can feel intent. Purpose. Civilization once lived here. Jaren nodded, excitement rising in his chest. Let's land. Carefully. The landing was tricky. Velith's long-dormant system struggled to read the planet's subtle gravitational anomalies, but Jaren's human instinct guided them. Every step was deliberate, every movement measured, and yet flexible. Humans thrived in unpredictability, and Velith adapted, learning with every maneuver. When they touched the cracked surface, Jaren stepped out, dust swirling around his boots. The ruins were silent, eerie, and awe-inspiring. Faded symbols carved into the stone hinted at knowledge long forgotten. Velith hovered above, lights scanning the ground, translating patterns into shapes Jaren could understand. Look at this, he said, pointing to a stone panel. Symbols shifted as Velith interpreted them. They were trying to communicate knowledge, ideas, art, maybe even their history.
It is remarkable,
Velith said. They abandoned much of it. Perhaps they feared it would be misused. But it remains, waiting for someone to understand.
Jaren's mind raced. The galaxy had lost so much.
Species rose and fell, civilizations vanished, and their knowledge slipped into nothingness. But here, in a forgotten corner, pieces of history remained. And a human could decode it, if he tried. As they explored further, Velith detected a faint energy surge. Something approaches, it warned. A fleet. Unknown origin. Jaren frowned. We're in the middle of nowhere. Who could possibly be here? The fleet emerged slowly, glinting in the planet's light. Small ships, fast and numerous, each one scanning for artifacts. They were scavengers, clearly looking for lost technology, perhaps even the same things Jaren had discovered. "They'll take it all if we don't act," Velith said. "They cannot predict your choices, but they follow rules, predictable patterns." Jaren's grin returned. "Time to remind them humans don't follow rules." He led Velith in an unexpected flight pattern. The scavenger ships relied on automated calculations, trying to predict the safest path to intercept them. But Jaren moved unpredictably, turning sharply, diving low, weaving through ruins. Velith responded perfectly, adapting its systems to his every decision. "This is incredible," Velith said. "Your instincts are guiding me in ways I cannot calculate." "Humans, you are chaos made effective." Jaren laughed, the thrill of the chase lighting up his nerves. "Chaos beats order every time." The scavenger fleet faltered. Their automated systems were slow to respond, crashing into obstacles or hesitating at complex ruins. Within minutes, Jaren and Velith had escaped the planet's orbit, leaving the scavengers behind. Velith pulsed brightly, almost joyous. "You are remarkable. I see now." Humans endure because they act in ways no logic can anticipate. You improvise, and it is beautiful. Jaren felt a strange pride. He had been a pilot long enough to know that instinct mattered as much as skill. And now, in Velith's ancient systems, human unpredictability had saved them. "Don't get too proud," he said with a grin. "We still have a long way to go." Velith's lights dimmed slightly, thoughtful. "I sense you are correct. The galaxy is vast. There is much to learn, much to see. But humans, you are resilient. Even when weaker, you endure. Even when lost, you survive." I admire this quality." Jaren felt a warmth in his chest. Velith's admiration wasn't just for him. It was for humanity. In the eyes of a ship older than any human memory, the species he belonged to mattered. That thought was both humbling and exhilarating. Over the next weeks, they journeyed through uncharted systems. They discovered a comet streaking through the void, its tail sparkling with traces of ancient minerals. Velith guided Jaren to a field of floating crystals that sang faint harmonic tones when touched by light. They explored abandoned stations, where alien data cores contained histories of species lost to time. And every discovery strengthened their bond. Velith began to ask questions about humans. Why do you explore? Even when danger exists? Even when survival is not guaranteed? Jaren thought for a moment. Because curiosity is stronger than fear. Because we want to know what's out there. Because sometimes finding something no one else can, that's what makes us feel alive. Velith hummed softly. "Humans, you are remarkable. You endure not because you are strongest, not because you are fastest, but because you care, you hope, you imagine." They came upon a planet with thick forests and rivers of liquid that glowed faintly in the dim starlight. Velith scanned the surface. Life existed here. Small, primitive, but intelligent. They left before they were ready. Yet their legacy remains. Jaren looked down at the rivers. So much lost, but still here. And now, we find it. That's what makes this worth it. Their journey also taught Velith about human resilience. When storms of cosmic debris threatened to tear them apart, Jaren's quick thinking guided the ship through narrow paths no alien AI would have attempted. When a massive energy field disrupted Velith's systems, Jaren used his intuition to recalibrate manual controls, improvising connections between alien circuits and human tech. Each time, humans survived where others might have failed. "It is, astonishing," Velith admitted. "Humans do not rely solely on logic. You rely on creativity, on instinct, on emotion. This is why you endure, why you thrive." Jaren smiled faintly. "It's not perfect. Sometimes it fails, but when it works, It works better than anything else in the galaxy. One day, Valif detected a faint signal coming from deep space, an encrypted message, centuries old. It was from a civilization that had vanished long ago, a star system destroyed by war. The message contained coordinates and hints about technology that could preserve life, energy sources, and knowledge beyond comprehension.
This could be dangerous, Velith warned. Many will want it. Many will not understand it.
But you could succeed.
Jaren felt his pulse quicken. That's the point, isn't it?
We're not just finding forgotten things. We're proving humans can handle what others cannot. We're showing we endure where others fail.
Velith pulsed brighter, almost proudly.
Then we shall follow the signal. Together we will uncover what the galaxy forgot. And humans, you will show why you matter. Their journey was no longer just exploration. It had become a test, a trial of human ingenuity and spirit. And in every challenge, every unexpected turn, Jaren saw the truth. Humans thrive not because of strength or speed or numbers. They thrived because they could adapt, improvise, and hope in ways no machine or even alien species could fully understand. As they entered the uncharted system indicated by the signal, a planet appeared, luminous, with rivers of liquid crystal and forests that glowed faintly under the starlight. Velith's sensors detected remnants of advanced technology buried beneath the surface. "This is it," Velith said. "What remains of a civilization lost but not forgotten. Humans, you will lead." Jaren's heart raced. Let's see what the galaxy left for us. And maybe we'll leave something of our own behind, too. Together, the ancient ship and the human pilot prepared to descend. Whatever secrets lay beneath the glowing surface, Jaren knew one thing with certainty. Humans could face the impossible. They could endure, they could adapt, and with Velith at his side, there was no limit to what they could discover. The galaxy was vast, dangerous, full of mysteries no one had solved. And yet, as the first human to pilot an ancient sentient ship into the unknown, Jaren felt ready. Because humans always found a way. Jaren and Beleth hovered above the glowing planet, its crystal rivers reflecting distant starlight like 1,000 mirrors. Below lay the ruins of an ancient civilization, buried beneath layers of time. Technology far beyond Jaren's experience shimmered faintly through Velith's sensors, waiting to be understood. The human pilot felt a mix of awe and determination. This was the moment they had worked toward: discovery, understanding, and proving what humans could do. Velith pulsed with soft light. The civilization here, they created wonders. And yet, they vanished. Their knowledge sleeps beneath the surface. Humans, you may awaken it. Jaren ran his fingers along the alien controls.
Then let's not waste time. We've come too far to leave it buried.
Descending carefully, Velith guided them to a plateau where crystalline structures jutted from the ground like frozen waves. Their surfaces were etched with intricate symbols that shifted subtly when touched. Velith interpreted the patterns, translating them into streams of light and sound Jaren could comprehend. "These are instructions," Velith explained. "They describe energy networks, life-sustaining systems, even star-mapping technologies. All of it meant to teach and preserve." Jaren's eyes widened. They trusted whoever found it to understand it, maybe even use it wisely. That's huge. This could change everything. But as they explored, Velith's sensors flickered. Another fleet appeared on their scanners, this time not scavengers, but corporate agents. Ships sleek and advanced, carrying orders to seize any lost technology, regardless of danger or ethics. "They come for the same knowledge," Velith said. "But humans, you can outthink them. You can do what others cannot." Jaren clenched his jaw. "Then let's show them." The agents landed in orbit, deploying drones and scanning devices. Jaren and Velith moved through the ruins, activating hidden systems. Energy conduits flared to life, powering defense mechanisms, though not deadly ones. Light fields, sound pulses, and structural barriers rearrange themselves, confusing the corporate drones.
They expect brute force, Velith said.
They do not anticipate creativity. That is human. Jaren grinned. Exactly. With quick thinking, Jaren guided Velith to manipulate the ruin's energy. Crystal and towers emitted blinding pulses, forming corridors that only the ship and pilot could navigate. Automated drones tried to follow, but they became entangled in shifting light and barriers. Velith's adaptive systems responded instantly, flowing through the space as if it had been designed for this moment. "We are human," Jaren said aloud, laughing with excitement. "We adapt. We improvise. We survive."
Velith's lights pulsed brightly, almost laughing with him.
"You endure because you do not rely on strength alone. You rely on imagination, courage, and persistence. That is remarkable." They reached the central chamber, a vast hollow filled with floating crystal orbs. Each orb contained holographic data, maps of galaxies, knowledge of extinct species, and technologies capable of sustaining life in harsh environments.
The room vibrated with potential energy. "This is the heart of it all," Velith said.
"Humans, you may unlock its secrets." Jaren stepped forward, carefully touching the nearest orb. It responded instantly, projecting a detailed star chart of uncharted systems. He realized that Velith's unique interface allowed humans to interpret this technology in ways others could not. Logic alone would fail, but human intuition, creativity, and instinct unlocked the information effortlessly. "We're ready," Jaren said. "Let's do it right." Velith hummed softly. "Together we will reveal knowledge without letting it fall into the wrong hands." The corporate fleet tried to breach the chamber. Their drones attempted to hack into the alien systems, but every maneuver Jaren made anticipated them. Velith adapted, creating illusions, redirecting energy flows, and confusing the intruders. The human mind, paired with the ancient intelligence of the ship, proved unbeatable. "They do not understand improvisation," Jaren said. "They follow rules. They calculate. Humans, we think differently." Velith pulsed in agreement. "You are unpredictable. That is why you endure." Hours passed, the ruins alive with light and energy. Jaren and Velith unlocked system after system, cataloging knowledge and preserving it for those who would respect it. The corporate fleet had no choice but to retreat, their automated tactics failing against unpredictability and ingenuity. Once the intruders were gone, Velith's lights dimmed, returning to a soft, steady glow. "Humans! I understand now. You endure not because of strength, but because of courage and creativity. You adapt when others fail. You hope when others surrender." Jaren smiled, feeling the truth of it. That's us. That's humanity. They spent the following days exploring the planet further. Velith guided Jaren to hidden archives, energy reserves, and star maps. Together, they pieced together the civilization's history, understanding what led to its fall and what could have been preserved. It was not just about knowledge. It was about responsibility.
They left this for someone to continue, Velith said. And now,
You are that someone. Humans. You may prove worthy where others did not. Jaren nodded. We will, not for power, not for money, but to show that humans can handle what others cannot, that we endure, that we adapt, that we care. Velith pulsed brighter, almost like a smile. I am grateful to have found you. Together, we unlock what the galaxy forgot. Together, we will explore and preserve. And humans, you are extraordinary. As they prepared to leave the planet, Velith projected a holographic path through uncharted space, revealing systems rich with life, ancient civilizations, and untouched wonders. There is more to see, more to learn, more to preserve. And humans, you will lead. Jaren felt excitement coursing through him. For the first time in decades, he was not a retired pilot scavenging for scraps. He was a human at the forefront of discovery, partnered with an intelligence older than most stars, showing the galaxy what humans could achieve. Velith added softly, "Others may see humans as weak or insignificant, but now I see your strength. I see your creativity. I see your endurance. And I believe you will leave a mark." Jaren grinned. "Let's make it a good one." Together they ascended into space, leaving the glowing planet behind. Corporate fleets might exist everywhere. Wars might rage in distant sectors, and civilizations might rise and fall. But humans had something no one else could predict: curiosity, courage, creativity, and the relentless will to endure. Velith's systems pulsed with pride and anticipation. The galaxy is vast, dangerous, full of unknowns. But humans, you are prepared. And together we will show the universe why you matter. Jaren leaned back in the cockpit, feeling a thrill he had long forgotten. "Let's go," he said. "Let's see what the galaxy left for us. And maybe we'll leave something of our own behind, too." And with that, the ex-human pilot and the ancient sentient ship ventured into the stars, unafraid of what lay ahead. They were a partnership forged by chance, curiosity, and trust. They were human ingenuity and alien wisdom intertwined. And the galaxy, forgotten, unexplored, and dangerous, was about to discover what humans could do when no one expected it: endure, adapt, explore, and leave a legacy that no one could erase. Jaren's laughter echoed in the cockpit. Velith responded with a pulsing light, soft and rhythmic, like a heartbeat. Together, they moved forward, a human and a ship proving that the impossible could be possible. Humans had endured. Humans had adapted. And now, humans would shine. Because the galaxy had never truly seen what they were capable of. The stars awaited. And Jaren, with Velith at his side, was ready to meet them head on.